This is the last chapter of ancient Indian history. This chapter is thinkers, beliefs, and buildings. So, in this chapter, primarily we would be talking about major thinkers like Jaina and Buddha on one hand, and at the same time, we would also be talking about changes that were taking place in Puranic Hinduism. So, the time period for this again is 600 BC to 600 CE. So, Shah Jahan Begum, she is important for studying this period of time because Stupa, primarily Sachi Stupa that was there, she gave a lot of money for the preservation of this ancient site, as well as she funded John Marshall to for museum. So her contribution is there in this. Then what were the changes that take place in the first millennium world? So for example, if we talk about Iran, there was Zoroaster. If we talk about China, it was Konzi, Socrates and Plato we see in Greek, and Buddha and Jaina in India. So we see a pattern that this thinkers, or to say philosophers, are taking birth in the world exactly almost at the same time. Why this was happening? So there could be a lot of reasons behind it, but one of the main reason that is there, that during this time, because of agriculture or sedentary life, there was state formation that was happening, and because of that it was possible that philosophers will come and will contribute. Then Rig Veda, all of us know that Vedic texts are important again. So what Vedic texts tell us is that there were so many hymns that was for Agni, Indra and Soma basically. So Agni for, you understand, it's fire. So, and hymns were particularly performed with sacrifices. Most of the hymns that was there was to be chanted during sacrifices. And in sacrifices also we see a difference. It changed the nature. First it used to be collectivized. For example, there is a tribe, for whole tribe there would be a sacrifice. But later it changed, that individualized sacrifices started happening, and there are some sacrifices. For example, Ashwamedha sacrifice, in which horse is being chopped off. So in that, or to say Rajusva, these were the big sacrifices. These were primarily done by the kings. So if you see the culture of Rig Vedic, that was the time when sacrifices and yaks were the main part. Then again, another thing is this question, these terminologies are very important. This I would be saying from time to time. For example, this Kuta Ghar Sala. So this place was like debates used to happen in these places. Basically, these were huts with pointed roof. So debates, basically, for example, there is people from Ajivika sect and Buddhists are there. Both of them will have a debate, and there was this tradition, if people of Buddhist text own the debate, then followers of Ajivika will also become the followers of Buddhist text. So this was one of the thing that was going on. Then another thing that is there were two sort of dominant philosophies were there. One was, you can say, fatalist, or another was materialist, or it can be idealist and materialist, but obviously in NCERT it's fatalist. So fatalist, for example, there is case study in that there is Makhali Gosala. So according to who comes from Ajivika sect, according to them, the idea was that everything is predetermined. Whatever I am doing, whether I am going to die, or when anything is happening, whether one would be raped or anything that is happening, everything is predetermined. So you don't have to do anything. Then there was a sect that was Lokayat. They were fairly materialist. Ajita Kuskambalin, that is one name of that. So the question came who Ajita Kuskambalin was from which sect. It could be Lokayat, or it can be whether he was a materialist, fatalist, idealist. So these questions can come. Materialist believe that our actions are determined on what we are doing or what things that are happening around us. No one is controlling us. So that is materialist. So there is a reason behind everything. It's not like someone is dictating or there is extra supernatural forces because of that things are happening. Then Buddhist text. So as far as Buddhist texts are concerned, after Buddha's death, his teachings were documented. That didn't happen during when he was alive. So this took place in Vaishali, and it was taken up by the senior or old monks. And this compilation of work is known as Tripitaka. Tripitaka means basically basket. So in Tripitaka there are three. One is Sutpitak. In Sutpitak you will find discourses of Buddha. Then there is Vinapitak, the rules of Sangha. Then Abhidhamma Pitak, that is on philosophical matters. These questions are also pretty much important. Then there are two texts, Div Pasma and Mahavasma. These are the chronicles that was not written in India but was written when Buddhism went to Sri Lanka. Then there is hagiography. Basically what does hagiography means? It is a biography of a saint or religious leader. Who was Buddha? So basic story of Buddha, we all know Buddha was a son of Sakya clan. And when he was a child, then an astrologer told that there is possibility that whether he would be a very good king or a renounced guy. So then his father gave him all the comfort and all. One day he got out of his palace and he saw how much sorrow is there in the world. Then he saw an old guy with wounds and all, but he had peace. That gave Buddha that he should also leave the world or this worldly matters, and he became and he left everything behind him. So teachings of Buddha. So according to Buddha, dukkha, sorrow is interesting to human being, but by following middle path would be between severe asceticism and self-indulgence, we can have a better life. So this was basically the teaching of Buddha. Then there are some other things. In Buddhist Sangha even, women were not allowed in the starting. Ananda, one of the close mate of Buddha, persuaded him to allow women. The first women to become bhikkhuni or to enter Sangha was Mahajapati Gautami. She was also the foster mother of Buddha. Then another point is Tharigata. This is very important. Tharigata is a book in which only women bhikkhus have written their experiences. Then again about Buddha, where Buddha was born in Lumbini, which is somewhere in Nepal or Bihar border. Enlightenment of Buddha happened in Bodh Gaya. First sermon Buddha gave in Sarnath, and Nibbana of Buddha happened in Kusinagara. Then coming to stupas. Stupas are earlier to Buddha, but Buddhist stupas are important because Buddhist gave stupa a new meaning in its own. So according to Ashok Vandana, and especially Ashok was the one who made a lot of stupas. So according to Ashok Vandana, the relics of Buddha were sent to all the important cities, and there the stupas were built. Then there are some symbolic meanings that are there in this chapter. So these symbolic meanings, for example, in stupas you will find that there are some pictures, but these pictures cannot be understood without having this understanding of symbolic meaning. So what does empty seat stands for? So basically empty seat stands for the meditation of Buddha. Stupa stands for Mahaparinibbana. And then wheel stand for first sermon of Buddha. So these are the, for example, these are the metaphors that are used. Then there is Shala Bhanjika. This is a figure. So this figure is basically a woman. So in Brahmanic text, Sala Bhanjika is considered as auspicious women, like to whichever tree she goes, this tree blossom and all. So these are mentioned in Sanskritic text. But this figure is also there in Buddhist stupa. So it means that those who adopted Buddhism also carried forward the preconceived understanding of Sanskritic texts. Then Mahayana Buddhism. So this is the another sect of Buddhism. They called them Mahayana, means greater vehicle, and another, those who were the olders were known as Heenyan. So obviously lesser vehicle. So earlier Buddha was considered as a human being, and through his own efforts he got Nibbana. But with Mahayana, this understanding of savior emerged, and there will be some bodhisattvas, and they will have the duty to, or they will help others to attain Nibbana. So this was Mahayana, and it became pretty much popular, and after this we see the images of Buddha being built in different places. And at the same time, this concept of savior was going on in Hinduism also, because during this time only we saw the emergence of Vaishnavism and Shaivism, because before that there was Vedic time and the sacrifices were the dominant, and temples also started to building this time only. So for example, Ghara Bhagira. So what does this term mean? This is a small square room in temple. So then with this we will end the chapter, but for a quick note I will talk about some of these structures or where these sites are located. So this is also one of the important part of this chapter. So for example, where is Sachi is there, where is Amravati. So these questions are also important, but at the same time with these questions there are questions, for example, where is Barbar temple? So basically this is in Bihar, or to say where is Dioghar temple, that is in Uttar Pradesh. Where is this Kailashnath temple, that is in Ellora, Maharashtra. So these questions are also very much important in this. So with this we basically end our history lecture on ancient India. Hope so that you will like these videos and will share it with all your friends. And moreover in the description box you will get the contacts of the tutors. You can also contact us for any sort of query that you are having during filling up the form or for studying. Thanks.